of regular season play. Ups and downs, peaks and valleys. We have finally reached the Esports Collegiate Playoff.
Through the fire and the flames.
We carry on.
Among all the controversy.
NIU Esports against Ball State. ESC quarterfinals, best of 7. So different format. We're gonna have, it's gonna be first to 4 map wins instead of first to 3 this time. Very excited to get things started. First, introduce myself. I'm Alex, also known as Frosty, here with my co-commentator and observer, Nick.
Yup, that's me.
And we are very excited about today. This will be NIU's biggest challenge to date. Not gonna sugarcoat it. They're up against the #1 seed. NIU is the #8 seed going up against the #1 seed. Actually, let's see real quick. It's a little choppy. I don't want to see the lobby. Let's see these video settings. Let's go full screen. The 60 hertz blunder. Oh, I don't know why it's only available on 60 hertz. Uh-oh. We might have to deal with some choppiness right now because I do not want to stop this match in the middle. It'll be a little choppy at first, but
it's okay.
So, NIU opting for this dive comp, Tracer, Sombra, trying to cause maximum disruption to that backline.
That's interesting. We don't really see many.
Yeah, Ball State's mirroring the exact same comp except swapping the Winston for that Tracer. Let me see here.
A lot of stuff going on in the slideshow.
How things shake out. Yeah, this is. There's some things going on.
Spirits in our practice, computer was fine before. So.
As we're watching this PowerPoint, Ball State takes it a little closer. Actually, I'm gonna let's try and tactical shoot this really quick.
Yeah, as the team's reset.
As the team's reset, so will we. But
yeah, keep it on Tokotoro. Tokotoro's kind of looked at the back line. They managed to get the Doomfist though. That's pretty massive. Tokotoro fighting for his life on point.
1 second, everybody.
Some behind the scenes action going on.
Thankfully, they're not.
Well, I can't see the screen right now, but judging by the sounds of Sombra, I can only assume Tokotoro's doing very well right now.
Ultimate is charging up.
Tokotoro's ultimate charging up, putting down his translocator. Big.
And I'm back. Catch you later.
All right, we're gonna have to.
Oh wait, it's
this one. I think it's a little better. We'll see. So sorry, everybody. We are back.
Oh, this is great. We're looking at 20 frames right now.
Actually, I think it's looking a little better.
Oh, it's going to be better.
A huge EMP from NIU. They have to want to take a fight. This is going to be the one they're going to have to do it. But Ravenstrider opting to use a Kitsune Rush to kind of counteract that. And although Tokotoro with the 4-man EMP is just not going to be enough. Only a few ultimates having to be committed from Ball State. They still have an EMP of their own, as well as that Meteor Strike. So, I mean, again, against a team like Ball State, it's going to be very tough. Something we've hammered home a ton is trying to win fights with 1 or 2 ultimates. But a team against like this, so Primal Rage and Zombie are being used. NIU does get the touch. Ravenstrider getting to pick on the flip-flop. Ball State not giving NIU any room to work with here. And it looks like this fight's going to be over before it really begins. NIU moving down 1 point on Helios.
Let the Kitsune guide you.
I mean, NIU, they ran a pretty interesting comp. When I don't think we've seen a whole lot of personally. I don't really see much that Toko Sombra,
Yeah, we haven't seen a ton of it. I know, I believe they've been practicing it in scrims a good bit, but like you mentioned, Nick, it's not something that typically is their super. I think we're okay. I think what was going on is our PC was doing a little bit of a malware check, making sure there were no creepy crawly viruses.
The NIU mouse was inside a computer.
Yeah, NIU mouse self-sabotaged the streaming streaming room this time.
Ball State bribing the NIU mouse to get in the PC.
So we march on. Map 2. Still opting for that dive comp. Racer going for Diva instead of the Doomfist. Racer hadn't played a bit of Doomfist back in the day, but it just must be like a preparation thing. I don't think NIU scrims must have scrimmed Doomfist too much. Life Weaver not allowed for this playoff match, even though I think Life Weaver is in a space where you probably wouldn't have seen him anyway. The hack on the Doomfist. And we gets away with not too much trouble. Flip-flop, the headshot on the Ninja Curly Fry could be exactly what they need. Racer demacked at the same time though, so it's essentially probably a 4.5 on 5 right now. Racer struggling, trying to get that mech back, tried to go for the remech kill, did not get it. Gets punished for it with their lives. No team has controlled point yet, but they say that Ball State does flip it towards their favor. I think if you're NIU, you're wise to get out here and take it towards. Just gonna try to get a little poke out, move away. In the meantime, Ace gets picked off, so the stagger and the percentage is just gonna keep going up for the Cardinals. Thank you to everyone who's supporting us in our chat today. I know we typically have our. Before I get too soon, we're already getting right back into the action. Flawless headshot from Rico. So both Rico's getting some Racer violence on the board in the kill feed. See that Manwy finds Tokotoro and Ball State just pushing closer to the spawn. NIU out of answers right now. I said Ball State, incredibly tough school. They have beaten the last 2 years conference champions in the standings. Miami, Ohio, and Northeastern both having a conference championship, and Ball State finished above both of them this season in the standings. And the EMP finds four Huskies, causes both supports to get picked off for NIU, and Racer's gonna get a pick on the Rico, but that looks like it's all gonna be what's on plate for this team fight.
It's like Tokotoro's just kind of beeline it to the point.
It's trying to get some kind of touch going. This is going to be difficult, and the ultimates have been. I mean, you're running held in spawn a little bit. The ultimates are obviously going to be a little slow charging. EMP almost ready. Tokotoro trying to get out. All in the back of spawn, so he's going to be actually going to be quite the trip for him to get back to set up for EMP. But I mean, you only have one fight to really work with anyway. And the two-person EMP instantly gets Manwy, not enough. The Exer tries to counteract it. 2 picks, NIU with the 5-on-3 advantage. Diva Bomb doesn't find anything. Raven's trying to let that such little health in that Rico ult. And the hack, and NIU gets a team fight on the board.
Took some ults, but that's all you need to get point control. Just kind of flip it around.
Yeah, they have to play this one perfectly. And you have the ults you need to do to at least get this next fight in front of you with Sune Rush, Sound Barrier, both excellent ultimates, but it's what comes after that is what the issue is. But even though it's not even a guaranteed win with those 2 ultimates, flawless picks, excellent pick on the Exer, catching them out yet. The point does flip. NIU needs a touch to get this point, but they do that. Flawless has to commit. Death Blossom finds Ninja Curly Fry in the process, and he flips it back, so a little bit of a panic there, but it ends up costing NIU about 10% of progress. Maybe a team fight, maybe a stall. Think of it, you only have Sound Barrier to work with. NIU trying to get Manwy out of there. They don't. That's absolutely tragic. They're left at about 50 HP there. Can't find anything. Spencer left on 1 HP of their own, but I believe they might already be out. Going for that help back. The hack. So Tokotoro and NIU have been playing much better on the Sombra after this point flip than they have been prior to. The hacks have been immaculate lately.
Yeah, I mean, the hacks are proving to just be such a... He just slips them in at the right times and is able to catch so many people off guard.
Yeah, it's hopefully something if you're an NIU fan, you hope to see continue. And then trying to be porting 3-person EMP. Soundbeard does come out, trying to turn something. Sombra is hacked, trying to get some kind of remake pick. Raven, Strider, and Spencer. Eliminations of their own. Ball State continues to march out. Racer finds a pick on one of the supports, but with spawn being committed, EMP, that's all Ball State really needed to flip this around. Racer gets demeched again, and no ultimates on the board of NIU. It looks like Ball State's going to go out to a 1-0 lead. Now without a contest.
Actually, hold on.
Tokotoro
dream.
Forces the Sound Barrier out, but that's all it's going to do. So if there's any other touch, maybe. Ball State goes out to a 1-0 lead. Ball State playing very well. Obviously, NIU has their work cut out for them if they want to move ahead to these semifinals.
I do think this is very winnable for NIU. I mean, they were able to flip the point around and get some good team fights, especially they couldn't hold for a bit, so it's gonna be tough. But
yeah, I think if I was a fly on the wall in the arena, I think you would be probably looking to try and take it to a map that wasn't necessarily dive heavy, because you saw Ball State was the better dive team. So maybe you try a little brawl, maybe you try a little poke here to just try and force Ball State to something different. If you can. You know, I'd say if NIU picks the 3 different types of maps that are available, or the 3 different types of comps to try and challenge them at all 3, and Ball State still wins, I think you know, there's not much you could do. But
do you think it's a bit like Pokemon, where if like the other team is like running like a dive comp, like Brawl is super effective against dive?
There is actually there is a bit of counterplay. Like I said, it's not as straightforward as Pokemon. You know, you don't automatically get like a double damage buff.
Tell me I can't just hyper beam the other team?
No, and you don't get leftovers either.
No.
But the interesting thing about it will be thanks for going to Paraiso. So the interesting thing will be, looks like NIU is going to try and challenge them on that comp again, maybe perhaps with a little bit of Far Mercy this time, or Far Echo.
Do like
map,
Echo.
we're going to Paraiso, so map NIU is trying to be very comfortable on. But as I was saying, you know, in past matches we've had a lot of support from our friends over at Kent State or Ohio, but they're busy in playoff matches too. So there's 4 quarterfinal matches going on tonight. I think 1 got rescheduled for tomorrow, but Northeastern taking on Western Michigan Esports. Miami, Ohio, going to go up against University of Buffalo team that NIU just took down last week. So Buffalo kind of, you know, in a different position facing a team like Miami, Ohio, because it looks like we're actually going to Kings Row instead.
Asterisk Christmas Kings Row.
Winter Kings Row.
Seasonal Kings Row, you know? Festive.
Ohio and Kent State, both, you know, both friends of our program. There seems some friendships being formed there. And Ball State taking on NIU Esports, of course, in the other quarterfinal. But while we're in between maps, let's give a huge shout out and huge congratulations to our Rocket League team who traveled down to the ISU Redbird Gaming Rocket League LAN and took home first place. Very, very proud of them. They got knocked down to losers bracket, came all the way back from losers to win back-to-back best-of-5 games against University of Illinois.
That's insane.
It was an insane match to watch. The funny thing is, funny story behind the scenes, one of our players did not realize that there was a bracket reset, so they won the first best-of-5 thinking they had just won the grand finals. And the look on their face when we told them, no, you have to win another best-of-5 was quite priceless.
Yeah, my simple-minded brain can't comprehend Rocket League.
It's such a simple game. It's simple to learn, like, but it is so mechanically difficult.
Yeah.
I'd argue. I mean, just personally playing it, what did we do to Ball State's production? I don't know.
You sent the NIU mouse at.
If you sent the US, it was great. It was a great weekend for NIU Sports. A great week because we qualified for playoffs.
Now
teams made eSport collegiate playoffs this year, and hoping to keep that momentum going.
As usual, NIU tradition.
The statue. So looks like maybe spoke it too soon. So NIU not gonna opt to try and challenge. Actually, we'll see. NIU, you'd think, would try to run some sort of brawl comp here, but in reality, they've been known to be running dive on this. So actually, Ball State's opting for the same thing. So in one of the most brawl-centric maps, we're actually going to see a little bit of dive action. Racer on the Doomfist, so something that's worked very well for Ball State last round. NIU's going to try and take a page from it themselves. Fallis, I think we got some love going on between both teams.
It's the holiday spirit, I'm telling you.
It's the Christmas spirit coming out. Everyone's, you know, friendsless get.
It's the hazing spirit.
Friendsless get bloated a little bit.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3,
and we see that
1.
Let's see if the Christmas spirit, if NIU has a Christmas miracle in them right now.
Miracle on Kings Row.
Just trying to make something work. The Widow instantly swaps. Far Mercy now. Cat and Far Mercy. It's been the answer for a lot of issues and a lot of questions that NIU has had at certain points in certain maps. They've struggled with this. Far Mercy has been working for them, and trying to do the same now. Flip Flop playing a little aggressively, gets punished for it. Miakister. Tracer falls as well, so quick fight for Ball State to begin the map.
Spencer just got in Flawless's face there. And interesting counter. The Genji to the far left.
Yeah, NIU
Sojourn on
opting to swap for a bit of a different comp. So I think that you look at that Genji, you look at that Ana, you look at them as a little easier to get with Winston than versus a Doomfist. So they're going to do that Racer, opting to try and take some high ground control, actually rather take point control, trying to find a pick on that Genji. So they're putting point presence on, but Curly Fry does find Haze. NIU get a tick quite yet, almost with a tick. Racer.
Sleepy Monkey.
Sleep. Raven Strider is ready for it. Excellent saving, excellent patience with her cooldowns there. Flip Flop, a headshot on the Raven Strider. At the same time, they pick off NIU's tank. Flip Flop with another headshot. They're making it work right now. Opening up the point. Toko Toro picks it off, and looks like NIU in a really good position to get this point, but the Doomfist being left alive for so long, Ball State's certainly going to be able to get the respawns in here, so it's definitely not a set foregone conclusion yet. And we're going to be back in
slide
with that Nano. Picks off Toko Toro, or picks off Flawless rather. Flawless on the Sojourn this time. Toko on the Tracer, and no more clicks coming in. Ball State's actually going to turn this around, so they play this patiently. They go at their own tempo. Decide not to just throw the Doomfist on the point to try and stall. They realize they have the time, they have the respawn advantage, and they turn it around. So excellent awareness for Ball State there. And NIU, you know, silver lining, you do get 86.2% on the board. So technically, the game has now become winnable with a full holder, only allowing one tick from Ball State. And even just a brief lapse of judgment from Ball State will allow NIU at this point. But before that, Spencer picks off Toko Toro with the headshot. Flawless with that charged up shot, trying to make something work with it. Meteor Strike being challenged. Flawless unable to get that shot out as Tracer tries to clear some space from primal range onto the point, but as Ball State's just splitting up the Huskies far too well.
Flawless does have the win button.
Actually, a couple ultimates that honestly, if you're NIU, you're kind of happy being used. It's something you don't have to worry about for next team fight. Those were two ultimates used on the cleanup duty. So really you only have Sound Barrier to work with. Granted, it's a very good ultimate, but as far as we go into this last fight, ultimate advantage is 100% on NIU's side. Sune Rush, Sound Barrier, it's going to keep your team up. It's going to keep everyone firing faster. Flawless, you know they have the capability to flick some heads with that overclock. They're going to go for it. Trying to find something. The Sound Barrier being committed. Flawless being used. Haze matching it beat for beat. Flawless trying to find something. The extra gets taken down with the help of 3 other NIU players. The assist percentage keeps ticking 91.3%. NIU, it's do or die for them. Flawless the headshot onto Ninja Curly Fry. The Doomfist left so low. It is so back and forth, and NIU finally caps the point. Nice work from them. But not Ball State.
Proving why they're the #1 seed right now.
Proving why they're #1 seed, and NIU having to do everything, pushing them to their absolute limit, absolute peak of play to even just get a point against this Ball State team. So continue on, 2 minutes left to go, so you don't have the luxury of a ton of team fights here. 2, maybe 3 at best to work with, and the fight might be over before it starts with the early pick on a Toko Toro. Meteor Strike being used fairly early on, so they're going to be in spawn here, but I think Manby knows he has the full trust of their supports, and Ball State's not going to let up.
Aggression.
Excellent bubble. That is a excellent bubble from Razor, cutting off the heals from Ball State's Winston. And at the same time, that's tragic. Flawless gets caught out by the Dragon. So it's back to even 4-on-4, although main take, but just another headshot. The mechanical skill from Ninja Girly Fry and Spencer. Headshots after headshots here.
I think Razor might go for a swap here.
Putting him at bay. Flawless onto the Cassidy. Tokotoro back on the Sojourn, which is something they've played a little more frequently. I think Sojourn has been more Tokotoro's role, so a little bit more to the status quo here. Racer opting for that Ramattra. It's been so well lately, but the big thing about Ramattra is the Annihilation has been huge for us. There's been huge ultimates, but with only a minute left, you're going to have to do a lot of pokes to be able to build up that ultimate in time. Not something I'm sure they might be able to do. Kitsune Rush being forced on point, but Ball State nowhere to be found. They're just chilling on high ground, but Flip-Flop does a little bit of I Spy work, finds Raven Strider. And he was actually pushing forward with this actually nice ultimate Flip-Flop there. Try and open things up, but as you've seen time and time again, Ball State, even in 3-on-5 situations, have been able to turn it, and they're doing that just now. Spencer, the headshot on the Flawless, and the boot back into the Meteor Strike, almost picks off Tokotoro. The Dragon finishes what Doomfist started, and Cart's going to continue to move forward a little bit, but NIU
seconds. NIU's got to get on that
Racer,
cart.
trying to keep Racer up with that sound barrier. Nothing's going to happen. The sound barrier finds themselves and two of their teammates. Flawless from the high noon. That's all you have left as far as ultimates go, and it's just Flip-Flop on point. So, and then you have to be careful. If Flawless or Flip-Flop falls here, there's no one back to touch, but NIU very aware of that. But Ninja Curly Fry, 2 picks on the board. Make that 3 from Ninja Curly Fry, and that DPS lineup incredibly lethal. And the cart ends there, so about halfway through the entire point, NIU gets the cart. So certainly winnable with a proper defense, but man, Ball State's they're not going to make this one easy.
I mean, there's a bit of wiggle room, right? It's much better than having only 84, 86% of the point like what we had before. But getting the cart that far, 104 meters it's winnable, but it's not going to be easy.
No, not at all. I have to see what kind of comps NIU's opting for. I wonder if we'll see the Ramattra again. I think NIU's relying on some comfort picks. I think they've been doing a lot of swapping. I've noticed every single map we've seen a lot of swaps. I think that's been something that NIU is it's been their mantra for better or for worse all year. They've been very quick to swap it out. So I'm actually quite glad to see that even though they didn't get the full cap, they're not. I don't think the comp's the issue here. So I think they can make it work with the comp that they have here. Raven Strider and Yaxter opting for the Zen Lucio combo. I wonder if that's just a spawn thing. Maybe have some fun with both production teams. But we will see. I mean, Ball State plays very aggressively and very aggro. So even though it's traditional comp like Zen Lucio, where if you see that in your ranked games, you might as well start typing GG. I think Ball State can honestly make a Zen Lucio comp work in this situation. So don't discredit that, but it's going to be on NIU to take advantage of that and punish maybe this compositional choice by focusing that backline, especially that Zenyatta, that Discord orb, so strong. Man, we already planning to pick on the Flawless early 4-on-5 advantage for the Cardinals. And Raven, like I said, Raven Strider on that Zenyatta. It's gonna be that third lethal DPS player, and Ball State takes this one without a fight. So going to dives, okay. Instead of more fronted ground approach. Oh, okay, we're back on to. So NIU struggling a little bit with what exactly they want to do. I do like the Genji pick from Flawless, trying to put a little bit of pressure on that Zen Racer with the Winston. So giving that Zen a little bit of a tough time. So I think if you can go long range battle versus long range in this, I think Ball State's gonna win. Gonna win more often than not with that Discord Orb and with that long range poke that they have from Spencer and Ninja Curly Fry on that Hanzo and Sojourn, both very long range characters who do damage from a safe distance at the cost of being perhaps a little more diveable. So that's NIU's mindset here, is to try and give those characters who might not be able to defend themselves a little bit of a tougher time, but the cart has not stopped moving. Tokotoro finally with the pick on Yaxter. could be the start of something for NIU, but like I said, Ball State, like I said, has been very, very quick to turn team fights around, seemingly in the blink of an eye sometimes, but it doesn't look like this will be one of those cases. Racers with a double kill onto the Sojourn and Zen. The Doofus and the Dragons, like, Ball State's just not scared to continue to commit resources into a fight that most people would consider said and done. So the cart continues to move. NIU looking at having to not lose a team fight for the next 4 minutes.
I believe.
Yeah, and Transcendence coming up. It's gonna make a nanoed Winston much less scary. It's gonna be on flip flop. Try and plant some kind of antsy with this Transcendence. It's gonna come out. If Ball State even opt to use it, they might have to. Early Pride does get picked off first. It is a 4-on-5. This Boomfist has been such a thorn in the Husky side. They're trying to make something work. Focus down, but the focus fire isn't really being placed anywhere. They're more just trying to keep people at bay, but the longer you keep people at bay and not punishing them for this overcommittance, the quicker Ball State can get 5 in strong. And so Nano going on for Winston. Blade coming out, Transcendence finally being used, not before Flawless finds 2. Exactly what they need, man, he's so low. Finally gets the pick onto them. And so NIU actually gets a fight in their favor. So a seemingly impossible task becomes a little less impossible.
I mean, NIU does have 2 ults that they can use in this next push, but will it be enough?
They might have to only do it with 1. Because the next closest ult after those 2 is 38%, so that's not even the next fight territory. The barrier from Jagster coming in at the perfect time, saving multiple of their teammates. And we capitalizes on that. Lucio so aggressive. Tokotoro used the slide at the very last second to get into the safe position. Racer picking up Ninja Curly by Raven Strider in the back line. You're going to have to punish this. And they do just that. Ball State playing mega aggressively, for better or for worse. Cost them their Zenyatta's life, but with the way they've been playing, it honestly may not even cost them this team fight. Ooh, flip-flop.
Quick
Showing how well they've been aggressively. They're not just the healer that they are, they bloodthirsty support. But Spencer and Manwy getting up pair picks on their own as the overclock gets committed, but too many picks on point forces NIU off point. So maybe not a textbook C9, but you know, there's just a huge amount of pressure because if the Winston, if you're a racer there, you have to get off point. You can't let that Sojourn, you can't let Ninja Curly Fry have free reign with an overclock on high ground. You're just gonna lose the fight anyway, even in that scenario. So we were stuck between a rock and a hard place, and Ball State ultimately goes up 2-0. So we're gonna be going to a pure hybrid map, so pure payload, and not a pure hybrid, pure escort map, also known as payload. So I have to imagine I'm not a gambling man, nor is this a wager or anything, but I'm gonna have to guess we see a little bit of Rialto here.
Yeah, and they usually does pretty well on Rialto. So I see some.
We'll have to see,
some familiar
how it goes. So actually, while they're discussing maps and what to go on and getting everything set up, we will be back in just a minute on commentary.
Welcome to Rialto. Initiating match.
All right, look at that. We're at Rialto.
Kaboom!
Shock of the century. So the best thing
Gotta
I think
win.
about this best of 7 format, other than just getting more Overwatch, is that we're guaranteed to see push no matter what. Something we haven't seen very frequently.
Hooray!
Hooray!
More push. What is she painting? There's literally no canvas around here.
Would we?
Literally no canvas. You're missing some paint. Anyways. Yep, some false on the Pharah.
Man, we on the
pass.
hog.
I think man, who's gonna try to go
I mean,
for
I think
the
we
hooks.
could.
cheese hooks.
I think you can make any tank look like the next meta tank right now.
Yeah, I was saying during our break when I play Doom, you know, I drop like a fly, but when Manwy plays Doom, he just seems immortal.
He says is a Zen with Transcendence on him permanently. Tokotoru doing the plug
Slowly
walk.
walking up. Whoa, he shapeshifted.
3, 2, 1.
So, alright, we're not on the hog anymore. We're on Sigma. So, long range poke.
There's a lot of space for NIU
Spencer,
though.
yeah, Spencer gonna try and be a thorn in that side for flip flop. Toro, try to find something. Ninja Curly Fry, obviously an excellent hit scan player. Gonna test the capabilities of Flawless and Haze with their positional movement here, especially with the Discord Orb. Raven Strider wins the duel against flip flop instantly. The res is coming out, so actually with the pick from Racer on a Raven Strider, it's actually a 4-on-5 advantage for NIU. We'll see if they can capitalize on this. Having to take a bit of a step back, heal up. They're gonna have to re-engage again. Ball State's only gonna be doing the same, and Tokotoro gets caught out a little bit. That's a little overzealous trying to get that Sigma, but man, we left on 1 HP. Racer does finish out the pick.
Call Racer the janitor because he's on cleanup duty.
Lena, he's
just taking him off.
He's left so low. Struggling with that Tracer Ninja Curly Fry. Both teams having an excellent amount of cleanup here. Or, you know, some people may call it kill stealing, we call it cleanup.
Now you're looking a lot stronger here.
Yeah, but Spencer, as we say, Spencer gets a pick on a Flawless, and I think with the respawn advantage, Ball State able to get so quickly back to that point. I think you need to reset here. That's exactly what Racer's gonna do. So, almost capping first point with no ultimates committed. So you'll have to, you're a little optimistic to see what NIU can do with ultimates. Stick with Pulse Bomb, fortunately not finding anything. Poke, Flawless. I mean, I'd say you look for them for a barrage, but
Oh!
Racer, nice pick on the Xer. Exactly what they need. Trying to maybe build and get in deep enough to get that Primal Rage so they can just extend that time. And I think if you're Flawless, I mean, Barrage is unofficially called the press Q to die button because you're stationary, you can't do much. Focus Fire is so easily being placed upon you. We'll have to see Kitsune Rush being committed from both teams. Racer, the juggle pick on to Spencer, and the Transcendence not enough for Flawless to pick up Raven Strider. Flawless actually gets with the line.
Back.
Has to go in the back line, and he was going to cap this point. Just a bit of cleanup on a Manwy. It is true, they can be picked off.
Manwy is not immortal. No, enough bullets and anything can die.
But they do have the Flux counteract next fight, so a well-timed Suzu is going to be needed from Flip Flop to counteract that. You don't have any support ultimates right now. Balls gets picked off, so you're going to try and just get a little bit of cart as you can. You know, you're going to have to win a couple team fights here regardless of how far this card moves in this first push. So, Racer trying to make something work. Gets chunked down. Those tanks are so beefy, such high hitboxes, such big hitboxes, and the Suzu not being available, the Flux is going to pick off Haze, and I think we're trying to make something happen with this overclock, but
Cybernetics regulated.
not fully charged headshot. A headshot nonetheless doesn't get the pick. And it's back to spawn. The Huskies still have a healthy amount of time to work with. 2 minutes.
Spencer taking a dip.
Oh yeah, Spencer. Yes, Spencer does
Whatever
fall.
he is.
So NIU would be wise to be playing fast on this one. They're going to do just that. Trying to capitalize on some mistakes from Ball State. Winston, excellent job with this Discord, making Racer's job so much more difficult. If you take 30% more damage already as a Winston with such a heavy hitbox. Tokotor with the headshot and the punch combo. Ninja Curly Fry. Takes off balls in return. Racer being a menace to that backline, not letting up. Primal Rage being committed. Maybe trying to make Spencer, makes Ninja Curly Fry go for a swim this time. Gets the boot kill. Trying to do the same to the Sigma. 1 second left, almost. Not quite, but still this fight is very winnable for the Huskies. They're trying to find something. Pulse Bomb unable to find anything again, but Racer finally gets picked off. Almost. So the cart moves a team fight's worth further for NIU. They have a minute 46 to win one team fight. Try and get some more time in the bank. But 3 ultimates from Ball State gonna make that task easier said than done. Racer trying to make something happen here. And it hasn't been making a ton of mistakes. I'd say there's not been a lot of. It's been more an optimal play from Ball State rather than Ball State punishing mistakes, but the ultimates being committed from NIU is going to turn this fight for them, so an excellent blade. Actually, I'd say ultimates, but it was just singular. NIU taking that fight with just 1 ult.
Yeah, I mean, doing fantastic now.
Excellent work. They've shown that this team is not an uncrackable nut. They can be taken down.
Enough coordination.
NIU is playing at some of their best game right now. Dives are coordinated. The Transcendence making things a little more difficult. Tokotor trying to find a headshot through it, but Transcendence enough to win that team fight. So only 1 ultimate being committed for Ball State. They still have 4 more to work with. Flip-flop pick aside. You're still looking at a clean reset on the board here.
Be careful, Shimada.
I mean, look at Ball State's ults. Right, they got
a lot of good ones coming up. Yeah. Well, the fight winner there is going to be Manwee's Flux, and the sound barrier counteracting the Flux. Excellent patience from Hayes holding on to that. Pulse Bomb yet again does not find anything. Curly right finds flip flop out of position, and like that in the blink of an eye, 4 picks in such a short time, and the health pack keeps Spencer up just enough.
I pointed out the 4 ults from Ball State. We got just about a minute left, and all 4 are gone.
Yeah, I mean, NIU has a couple ults to work with, but it's not going to be a very ultimate-heavy fight. You know, you have to hope Tokotor's able to find some heads with that overclock. Racer, his space-making ability is going to be amplified a good bit. But Tokotor with the pick on the Yakuza immediately. So low, though, but looking down, like, aggressively. Immortality Field comes in just in time. Keep Manwee up for just a second longer, but at the same time, Spencer does pick up Hayes. Racer try to take out the supports. In return, eye for an eye. But has to get out because Raven Strider making it back to their spawn.
That's at the back line.
Yeah, they've been so good living. They've been so good living on this Baptiste. I've noticed they've not been the first death quite too often. That's exactly your #1 goal support. It's not to be the first one to get picked off, because that's such a huge disadvantage for you. If that happens, Flawless and Racer with a dive, coordinated dive together.
Immortality's down.
Racer does fall. The blade comes out. So many people are low, but it's not quite enough for NIU. So they will get this cart almost all the way, but unless a miracle here, Tokotor finds the cold block shot onto Manwee, but the support's there, and the respawn advantage very much in Ball State's favor. This is going to be where the cart ends for NIU, but definitely nothing to be ashamed of for NIU. Definitely extremely unironically, unequivocally
so close.
Winnable.
Score.
NIU.
I believe.
I believe that we will win. If you're NIU, you're at least feeling good getting that far against the #1 seed.
Yeah, I mean that was a very impressive attack from the Huskies here.
never looked at the health pack this close.
So fun fact, a mega health pack is just 3 minis inside of it.
I did not know that. That is all. I did see 3. And there's a mini over here. Just look at that.
Ready for battle.
Somehow crossed the OW. Still got it.
It's things like that that give you an edge in competition, of knowing the visual differences between a mega and a mini.
What if I told you that Alex had that dog in him?
What if I told you a mega health pack was bigger than the small one?
No way.
Checking it
Up, yeah, we see the flawless on the Pharah.
Feeling
Is it
more
Pharah or
powerful?
Farah?
Um,
It's like Farah, like Pharaoh.
I think Farah is technically the right
I will not
term,
waste this opportunity.
but I don't judge anyone for using either term.
Yeah, they're so close.
Now, Brigida being called Bridget is where it gets on my, you know, it becomes a little less acceptable at that point.
Yeah, you can't really excuse that much. Racer's just in the stew right now.
See, NIU so opting a little bit, still somewhat died, but even defense matrix, maybe some folk potential. And you knew NIU's had some trouble with that side door, with opponents taking pot shots from there before. And speaking of having that dog, Ball's gonna have to do some dog fights himself with this Echo in the sky, but Ninja Curly Fly does not have the mercy with them. They're gonna have a Zenyatta, a Harmony Orb, and Most, and with a right-click charge, almost picks up Tokotoro. Life flashes before their eyes, and Racer's just taking so much firing in right now. And they're gonna chase this pick on the Zenyatta, and if they don't get this, it's gonna be costly. So they find this, but the cart keeps moving in. Ball State over halfway through getting this card in, and they definitely made aware of this. It's not gonna be a C9 situation. Tokotoro, Spencer onto the Widow. When did that happen? Tokotoro the headshot of their own. Racer struggling. Tokotoro wins the duel. Back with Manwee. Balls. So actually NIU gets the first hold here. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. So that first fight's kind of setting the tone a little bit. So I think NIU has, I think, all the confidence in the world. I think if you're a Huskies fan, you have no reason to believe why this map isn't winnable at this point.
Yeah, I mean, just because you didn't get it all the way to the end doesn't mean you lost, right? I mean,
Yeah, it essentially turns into a quick play game if you don't let them full cap, you win, essentially. But then they're gonna have to be smart with their ultimates here. Can't be throwing out too much at once. Manwee actually copying Racer's pick. Tokotoro gets a pick on his fence before getting found out by Ravens trying to themselves. This window on high ground being very lethal. The mortality field being thrown down. Racer getting chunked down. Gonna have to commit self-destruct. Try and get something back. They do just that. Racer and then the pick on the Ninja Curly Fry to boot. The res on the flip-flop. And NIU, I believe they're back at full strength here. And they're gonna win another team fight. Some more swaps. Raven Strider on the Ana now. Spencer onto Echo. And Ninja Curly Fry with that Cassidy trying to deal with that bar in the sky.
Yeah, Ball State really does not like this flawless haze combo we have going on right now. I mean, 4 of their picks, I'd say, all of our picks,
Yeah.
I'd say really helped picking up this far one way or another.
So the overclock ready on the board for the Huskies.
Dodge this.
Gonna have Valkyrie to work with. You have 1 or 2 team fights left. You have a team fight and a recontest at this point, so if you're NIU, you're gonna look to use maybe a couple ults, but Ninja Curly Fry finds Tokotoro, and I don't know exactly where that was, but the res is potentially possible, but it's a 4-on-3 advantage for Ball State right now. Spencer and Yexer both getting picks onto the support line, so no heals for NIU. This might be where Ball State gets a point in the point capped, so almost held the #1 seed to that spawn, but it looks like that's decided. I think NIU is going to let them have this one, and they're going to. Tokotoro gets picked up just a little late there.
A little too aggressive.
Ball State's going to do a little bit of cleanup patrol right now. Clock resets, so you're still in a good, an okay position. 2 minutes, 40 seconds left to hold probably 2 fights worth of payload length here. If you're NIU, when you're down 2-0 to such a tough team, you really do have to view it as team fight by team fight.
I'm feeling we're about to see an ult
Oh,
fight.
flawless with the boot pick. And it's go time for Toko Toro with that overclock, trying to make something happen with it. Toko Toro with the headshot of the Manwee, making sure they don't get that mech back. It's such a huge critical pick. Honestly, a team fight winner. Ball State opted back to go to spawn.
2 minutes left on the clock.
Wow, what a clutch shot from Toko Toro. Ice in his veins, and what could very well be his last game as the longest tenured NIU esports player, Toko Toro. And like I said, what could very well be his last game as a collegiate esports player. Flawless.
Playing that cover excellently.
Yeah, but he's gonna get spotted out. Flawless, excellent choice not to commit too much to it. Ninja Curly Fry left so low. Ninja Curly Fry gets picked off, does do a little bit of damage with her high noon, enough to make this a 3-on-3 fight right now. But Manwee, this tank getting up and getting nano. It's gonna be very hard to get picked off Spencer to pick onto Racer, but Toko Toro finds another support, trying to find the echo in return. Ninja Curly Fry back on that Tracer. Flawless to pick out a Spencer. This fight's looking more winnable by the second if you're NIU. This Tracer has the ball though. This Tracer being such a thorn in NIU's side. And they're going to do exactly that. Both supports getting picked off. That's tragic. Spencer putting the team on his back, getting that team fight win. And the bomb, excellent spot, excellent positioning. Actually doesn't find anything. Actually, quite impressive surprise. And Ball State is going to continue to move this card forward. I think the test might be possible for NIU if they get out hard right now. Actually, even so, they're going to have to opt to play this corner here. So another checkpoint. Only 2 minutes left to go for Ball State. They keep applauding NIU for giving them a run for their money, but if they can't get this stop, they can't get this final team fight win when the clock hits 0 and the Overwatch wick is burning. Or the overtime wick is burning. It's not going to happen. And Ball State's going to come up to a 3-0 lead. Spencer finds Flawless in the kill feed. And Ball State's going to continue to march us forward. So I think if you're NIU, you reset really quick. Maybe trying to find something. Okay, so Racer's going to reset. You're not going to have your Zenyatta, this character with no movement ability. So NIU definitely have a bit of a respawn advantage. So the card's going to continue to move forward.
Flawless sacrificed that the barrage.
I mean, barrage with Diva DM and all the Discord orb. It was a wise decision. I don't think you were going to find anything with barrage anyway. Racer with an ultimate on the board. Toko Toro, the pick on the Spencer could be exactly what they need. And it's go time once again for Toko Toro, trying to make something happen. Oh! Now Toko Toro put in the team, trying to get this team fight on his back. Flawless, trying to find Tracer. Ninja Curly Fry getting out. Toko Toro trying to get that mech out. Self-destruct being used. Excellent positioning.
See Hayes kind of hiding behind the pillars.
NIU almost off the cart again, but Racer finding it back on. A huge anti-nade onto Racer, cutting off the heals. Gonna have to commit self-destruct to that. Doesn't find anything. The D-Mex and the Remix and the self-destructs on these divas have been insane. But this Tracer has been such a thorn in the sides. Ninja Curly Fry still in that backline, I think.
30 seconds.
They've gotten out. One more team fight for NIU. They're gonna have to do this with no ultimates. Yaxter.
Yeah, I mean that Zen is probably the biggest priority.
That transcendence is gonna have to be massive, and you're not, see, Flip-Flop and Hayes, neither of them on Ada. Now that's the wrong call, but you don't have any counterplay to this transcendence now. And the most you're going to have is a high noon, which admittedly at an organized collegiate level, high noon, not that great of an ult, but I do have faith that Flawless could do this. So the cart moves forward. NIU knows how close the cart is. Not going to make the same mistake twice, getting off that cart. So it could be, at the end of this, we're going to have a map decided. Flawless forcing the recall. Ninja Curly Fry trying to get this high noon. And Flawless stay away with their lives. The high noon's still not committed. Ninja Curly Fry gets pulse, but at the same time slides into the team. I don't believe it caused the pick, but 3-on-5 advantage nonetheless. 2-on-5 disadvantage for NIU. And at the very last second, Ball State giving it everything they have. Finally cracks NIU's defense once and for all, and it is a 3-0 victory. But I think if you're NIU, man, you would have told me your #1 seed in the conference, you take them to their absolute limit, you give them their best showing. I think,
yeah, that pulse bomb changed the
pulse bomb
whole game.
Insanely clutch. But Transcendence was huge too, ensuring that no one on Ball State was going to get picked off anytime soon. Sleep onto that Kiriko there, so just very patient play from Ball State at the end there. They seem very calm and collected a little bit. You know, not throwing out any ultimates that they had to. You see how long that last team fight went on, and that Zenyatta was still holding Transcendence. It was like, nope, I know what I know what I need to do at Raven Strider, an absolute pro, getting, you know, great amount of patience, that team fight, and Ninja Curly Fry, the very, very clutch pulse bomb. So Ball State opting for that strategy of just playing a little slower, even though, you know, it's everything in your mind tells you wants to go, because it's the last team fight. You need to get those picks, you need to get them fast, but they waited until they found an opening. They capitalized on that opening, and things just fell apart for NIU from there. But, you know, I think that was more of just a case of Ball State playing well rather than NIU playing poorly.
Yeah. I mean, it was close.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, going up against the #1 seed and doing that well.
Yeah.
And bringing it literally to an ankle, especially an ankle biter, a nail biter. A nail biter.
An ankle biter. This game literally is a dog. It's a small dog.
It's a small chihuahua biting at my legs.
So we're going to waste no time, actually. Going right into Esperanza.
Welcome to
Esperanza. Sorry.
Esperanza.
See? I don't know how to pronounce everything in this game either.
We haven't,
Esperanza.
had much time to look around the beautiful settings of this map.
We haven't had push very often.
What is that? Oh, it's a rooster.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Anyways.
Anyways, comps being cooked up in the NIU Arena kitchen.
Yeah. Let's see, we got some locations.
I think this might be the first time we've seen Esperanza.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've probably seen at least
maybe
once.
once.
Wow.
Maybe once, actually.
This chicken must be really popular.
It's in every home in the country.
How much you want to bet it's down here?
Hello, chicken. It's like a Where's Waldo.
It's like an Easter egg hunt.
Back in Overwatch 1, there were some custom workshop maps that were like Easter egg hunts. You had to find specific little items on the map that were
I'm sure we'll find at least one more before.
So, both teams, no surprise, Esperanza, that dive heavy map. The only difference here is you got a Sojourn instead of a Sombra, and Ana instead of a Kiriko. A flip flop shown to be so mechanically present and so mechanically cracked on that Kiriko. So no surprise that they're gonna try and make it work here too. The coordinated dive from Flawless and Racer tries it, but in the meantime, it leads Tokator in a vulnerable position. Tokator gets picked off by Spencer. Spencer finds two. Raven Strider not getting picked off anytime soon, so cart's gonna move for Ball State. So
Enemy team is pushing
for
forward.
those that may be new to the Overwatch 2 map push mode, it's whoever pushes their cart in the enemy's direction the most at the end of 10 minutes, or if one team pushes it the entire way. So sometimes a team won't full cap, but they'll still be able to easily win. So every meter that Ball State pushes, NIU is going to have to push exactly that much and then some if they want to have any chance of sending this to a map 5.
Push is such an incredibly difficult game mode.
Empowered and ready to fight.
Ball's trying to make something work, but the aggression from Ball State almost overwhelming. Curly Fry left them very low HP. They're able to get out. So far, just a little bit of back and forth, no picks either way. Waiting for someone to make a mistake at the huge ante, 3-person ante for Raven Strider. A fight winner for them. Raven Strider, excellent ability usage. We praised them at the end of last map, and we're doing it at the beginning of this map. So the checkpoint is going to be capped for Ball State now, which means
Let's get back
until
to
the point where the robot moves back to the middle of the map, Ball State's actually going to have closer spawns. So it's going to be a little even tougher for NIU to turn this one back in their favor. Oh, the two Sombras just crossing
There's an
against
imposter
the
among us.
Don't mind me. Plus, the Pulse Bomb online, but Pulse Bomb versus 4 ultimates on the board for Ball State. It's going to be very difficult to turn another fight in their favor, but if you get a hack onto that Ana where it's so takes Nano off the board. Flawless finding a couple other picks as well, and he's winning the Lucio duel, and NIU gets a team fight here. So Robot's gonna move forward a little more, but they said all of Ball State is gonna have those close spawns here, just in the nature of this push mode. Racer has to be careful. You have to be careful that Ana with the sleep, even though the Flawless the pick on the Manwy already, actually. So they're actually going to get not only cart back into the middle, they're going to get some progress out of this here. Ball State opting to opt back even further, so now Manwy has to come back even further. The hack and the took a throw. I thought he was just going to stay close the entire time. I thought that would have been pretty funny. just a hack and leave. Throw him off a little bit, but the Nano on a Winston. The EMP doesn't find anything actually, but regardless of that, this fight still goes in Ball State's favor, and they're going to take this robot right back.
EMP charged.
EMP on the board along with Primal Rage, Sound Barrier, and Kitsune Rush, so it is a 3-on-4 advantage, or 4-on-3 advantage for NIU in terms of the ultimate department, but you have to be careful not to throw out too many ultimates at once. I think Yagister knows this EMP is coming up. We're going to, if you're Tokotoro right now, you're going to have to make sure you get that Lucio in that sound barrier, or else it's going to all be for naught. See if he's able to do that. I'm sure NIU's push is being dependent on whether or not they can get this set up, but the boop, excellent work right now. Making Racer's job, trying to dive a little bit difficult, and the hack at the perfect time from Spencer prevents Racer from popping their Primal Rage, and Manwy does exactly that, dropping that Primal Rage, and it's another team fight. So, man, that was excellent timing from Spencer there with the hack. You could almost feel Racer. I almost could feel him spamming that Q button, because I think a millisecond longer, Racer would have been having that on 1,000 HP. Tokotoro gets a 2% EMP, does not find Yagister with the sound barrier, instantly counteracts it. Not before Flawless finds it with the Tracer pick on a Ninja Curly Fry. But Yagister evens it up once again. Racer catches out one of the supports, hoping to make it 2 for 2. But the cart continues to move. Last thing you want is to give Ball State any more progress than they already have. They're already looking at a 60-meter disadvantage. And top have to disengage a little bit, top off with heals. Going back to a 5-on-5 team fight on NIU's portion of the map. Ball is trying to punish Yagister, but the ball riding mechanics are so good.
Good old game of tag in the corner.
So slippery, and Hayes
Lucio diffing
takes it off.
right there.
You got a sound barrier to work with. If you're Hayes, now you have to expect that this EMP is ready. You're gonna hide for it. But if it's gonna be on Hayes to save their team from this EMP here. The cart does move for the Huskies. Trying to make something work to sleep. Oh, instantly woken up though.
Flip-flop kind of popping off.
Yeah, it's gonna allow
Looking
NIU to keep getting more cart progress, and they might get this checkpoint here.
That'd be a huge boon for NIU in this fight.
EMP. Or the hack on demand, we picks them off, and the Kitsune Rush may not have been even necessary.
Almost ours.
Continue to march forward, and Flip-flop keeps getting those picks.
Massive under the Curly Fry.
So now only 20 meters to go to tie things up for NIU. It is very, very much within reach here. It's going to take at least another clean team fight win to do so. Tokotoro, the pick out of Spencer, slowing the progress down. The aggression continues for NIU. They've been finding Ball State and catching Ball State with these positional mistakes here, catching them out. And they haven't been able to get a clean team fight in yet. Oh, Racer gets picked up. A little overzealous there. The cart is going to continue to move Ball State's favor unless NIU can get out, but I think do a bit of a decontest here. So NIU does have enough ultimates to turn it around, and what, truth be told, or
I mean, 4 meters behind. That is so close.
Yeah. So the thing about the push map is, if you're moving the robot over portions of the map you've already captured and already pushed to, it moves so much faster. Tokotoro looking for the EMP. He's gonna try and find the Yagister. Does that? A 4-person EMP in return. EMP's that little marginally better for Ball State there. Spencer, eye for an eye as far as that one goes. There are some picks from NIU's side. Pulse Bomb doesn't find anything, but recall this out of stay alive way long in the air. Racer trying to make something work, but without.
It's like volleyball banana.
Yeah. On a ball with Spencer on this Sombra. So lethal. I mean, there really isn't a weak link on this Ball State team. NIU the 8th seed regardless, giving them all they have, giving them a huge run for their money, forcing Ball State to play their A game right now. So no ultimates, nothing even close on the board. You have flip-flop, that's the next closest, but might not even matter. So Racer gets a pick on the X. I think the Ball State's just gonna be like, okay, you got our Lucio, fair enough. We'll just decontest. You know, NIU is gonna have to win multiple team fights in a row if they want to win this one with how far the position of the robot is right now. Trying to find something to plan the hack in time. Trying to find Spencer. Spencer gets out as all those resources are being used. Manwy with the nano marching into that back line of the Huskies, and they're gonna find 2 picks as a result. Only 1 minute left on the clock. If NIU wants to keep their season alive, if they want to keep playing in these ESC playoffs, they're gonna have to win a few team fights here, string something together, get an ultimate economy going. I think last fight, you know, try to build something. You might use to try to get a quick team fight here to build some ultimates, but I think if you're NIU, you're gonna just have to try and win this from neutral. It's just so uncomfortable trying to win those team fights with such little HP. Manwy kept super low, but as you said, it makes sense there with the primal rage, giving NIU backline one heck of a time. The hack trying to do everything they can to save flip-flop, but ultimately falls into Curly Fry, who's there with the pick on cleanup patrol, and it's another Ball State fight win. But silver lining, NIU 3-2, soon to be 4 ultimates here. The cart continues to move, so NIU no longer within 4 meters of getting this map. It is doable. EMP online. The ultimate tracking has been pretty good for NIU from what I've just seen from their play already. The Kasune rush being canceled from the EMP. Tokotor trying to make something happen. Finds Lucio with the picks of Hayes. Finds pick on the extra. 2 picks in a row for the Huskies. Sleep on Tokotoro gets woken right back up. So this fight's actually going to go to NIU, but downside, they commit 4 ultimates to get that. So, I mean, your season's on the line overtime. The wick's ticking. I can understand the
50 meters.
The need. Yeah, you need 50 meters to push. I can understand that the want to make sure your season doesn't end right there. But as a result, you don't have any ultimates to work with. But on the plus side, neither does Ball State. So this next fight, if Ball State wants to win this, it's going to be done in the neutral. Unless they can draw out a team fight long enough, like they did on the Alto, try and build that nano. Both players have people left on incredibly low HP. Both sports do a great job of keeping their teams up. And poke battle just continues. Tokotor trying to find something. Getting set up, flawless hacked, picked off. Advantage goes to Ball State. NIU's last chance to try and make something happen. But it's a 3-on-5 disadvantage for the Huskies. And as the longer this team fight goes on, the more it looks like Ball State is going to move to a 4-0 victory. Ball State takes this one, takes a 4-0, and we'll move on to the semifinals of the Esports Collegiate Playoffs. So congratulations to Ball State, but I think if you're NIU, I think looking into it, going against a #1 seed is going to be incredibly difficult. But a little silver lining, let's enjoy this Tokotoro play in his last ever map as a collegiate esports player. One last cleanup, one last team fight win for Tokotoro.
Yeah, I mean, some close fights were had, but Ball State just proving their strength is, again, that #1 seed. So, bit of an unfortunate just first matchup for NIU. But
yeah, I think if you know, I have some thoughts that I'll share. I think we'll be back in a little. We're gonna break the mold a little bit. I think since it's our last game, I think we're gonna do an interview with Coach I Forgot. I want to get his thoughts on the team and on the season. So we'll be back in just a tiny bit, and we'll come back with you with the scoop from our head coach. So don't go anywhere. All right, we are back, and I am here with our head coach, Jacob Fergot. You've seen him in the lobby typing R quite a few times this season. So, I mean, former varsity player turned head coach. Jacob, you knew that this was going to be an incredibly tough game to win, 8th seed versus 1 seed. Ball State, a team that doesn't have a conference championship under their belt yet, but it's a team that is finished first in the conference and gave us such a tough time even during the regular season. But I think you look at the game that we had in the regular season, you look at the team we have now, and they look like two different teams. That being NIU.
Oh, for sure. I'm super proud of the players. I know. I was really surprised when the conference told us play all the playoff matches are going to be a best of 7. So I knew it was going to be a marathon for this game. But I'm really proud of what we showed today, despite the score being a 4-0. Like you mentioned, Ball
Doesn't tell
State.
the full story.
Ball State, they're a number 1 seed for a reason. They're a really good team. But I'm just happy we started to build our momentum as each map went on, one map to the next. We started off kind of slow on Ilios, but I think we really hit our stride once we made it to Rialto. We burned out the whole clock, made it down to the last fight to decide the map. Same thing with Esperanza. Of course, like they had some meterage on us with the bot, but I'm really proud that we didn't allow them the full cap, and we burned out the whole clock there as well.
Yeah, there was a point you guys were within 4 meters of getting that lead, and you just punishing and capitalizing on any mistakes. Like I said, I don't think NIU made too many mistakes. I think it was just some games, you get the team that wins is the team that capitalizes on the mistakes. I don't think either team made too many mistakes. I think it was more just which team made the bigger plays, and I think both teams brought their A game, but I don't think the 4-0 score line tells the entire story.
Of course, I don't believe so as well. I think Ball State did a really good job of keeping their momentum up on us, just playing very fast at times where they were catching us off guard. That's something that I think every team needs to work on. That's the whole point of Overwatch, is keeping your momentum up as you win each team fight.
And setting the tempo, forcing them to play your game, forcing them to play your tempo. So, I mean, nothing to be ashamed of there. And is there any kind of parting thoughts as you can kind of look back on the season as if you could describe the season in one word, what word would you describe our season in?
Ooh. That's a tough one. I got a lot of words to say about our season. You know what? I'll use the word momentum. We were just using the word of that in game, but I think it really applies to us out of game as well. As we start to look forward for next year's conference season, at the beginning of this year, we started off as like a full diamond team. Like our best players was barely scraping masters, and now here we are. All the players have hit GM. We're all grandmaster. We're all scrimming other really good teams in the conference, and starting to close that gap between us and the top seeds of the Esports Collegiate Conference. So I think to describe this season is just keeping our momentum up. I would say just momentum, and hopefully that could be a word that we can use for next year as well.
I'd like to say in a year's time we'd have a much better chance being the number 8 seed, upsetting the number 1 seed, but I don't think we'll be the number 8 seed next year. I think we're going to be a little higher than that if we keep this momentum going. So I'm excited to see what the future holds. So I mean, we'll be back with more esports collegiate action in the fall with their Valorant Rocket League teams. But I'd like to say thank you for the time and thank you for an excellent season. We've had a ton of fun behind the booth here, watching some silly plays, watching some excellent, very clean plays, and everything in between. So thank you for a great season.
Thank you for having me. And thank you all to all the people in the chat watching, or even if you're not tuned in now, if you've ever watched any of our games this season. Thank you for all the support. Appreciate every one of you guys. And hopefully we'll put on a show for next year as well.
So actually, what we'll do now, typically we sign off, but we'll actually don't go anywhere because we're actually going to show off some of the student club, Husky Gaming. They have a Valorant match going on right now, so actually we'll host them and we'll give them some love and support. So if you're there, don't go anywhere, and you'll get to enjoy some NIU Husky Gaming Valorant action from there. So thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic night.